Well, hello, speakers. I'm Kimberly Crow. I'm super excited. We are here with another episode of Landing the Gig. If you are a speaker looking to get out on other people's stages to build your credibility, grow your know, like, and trust, and get the message out about who you are and what you're up to in the world, you're in the right place. Landing the Gig is a series of episodes that Kelly Filardo and I put together with people who book speakers because we're tired of seeing amazing humans that have great solutions in the world not get enough attention and exposure. Kelly?
Thank you, Kimberly. Yeah, absolutely. I've been a speaker for 13 years and it was like, how come I'm not getting more gigs? And what am I doing wrong? So that's when I was inspired to go right to the source, the event planner, the speaker bureaus, the agents, the event managers, and talk to them about what are we doing wrong and what do we need to do right so we can land more gigs.
I love it. All right. So whether you're just starting out or if you're looking to elevate your speaking career, we are super excited to have you with us. So without further ado, let's dive into today's conversation with our expert on how you can truly land the gig. Cheers.
Hey there, everybody. Kelly Filardo from Landing the Gig. And this is the show where we talk to speaking professionals all about how they can land more gigs. And today my guest is Dawna Campbell. And I'm really excited to chat with her because her and I have actually never talked, but I've heard all kinds of amazing things about her. So I'm really excited about having her on today. So welcome, Dawna.
Yes, thank you so much for having me here with you. It is a pleasure. And I am so excited to be sharing some information and wisdom with you guys.
Oh, great. Well, I'm excited to have you here too. So Dawna, how did you get started in the speaking business?
Oh my goodness, what a great question. Several years ago, this was in 2018, 2019, I went to write in a business journal. I come from a healing background. I was looking at different ways to grow and expand my business. And I went into a meditation. And from that, I visually saw myself standing on a large stage, the type of show it was, the energy, the feeling that it had, the content that was delivered, and everything. And I went, whoa, not me. I wrote it all down in my journal. So I do have it. It is dated. And then I closed it and went, yeah, we're going to sit on this. Because I never thought or considered speaking ever in my entire life. I have a healing background. We worked with clients. You help them with their health and do different things. Well, the universe has an interesting way of putting things together. And it kept resurfacing and it kept coming up and kept coming up. And then the next thing you know, I'm writing a book because it's a written spoken word. And then it's like you have to go on podcasts and share your book for sales. So I started doing podcasts and I'm like, okay, I can do this live or recorded. This is okay. And then they're like, now you have to go out on a stage. And it just progressed because I wanted to share some wisdom that I had and things that I've learned in my own business. And the next thing you know, following the little breadcrumbs of steps, here you are. And now I'm scratching my head going, I didn't want to speak on stage. And now I've been in front of thousands of people. How did that happen? And it's just following your intuition, following those heartbeats.
Oh, that's a beautiful story. Okay, so what are speakers doing wrong? Why are they not landing more gigs?
Oh my goodness, why are they not landing more gigs? First, I think you have to ask. And by ask, what I mean by that is asking the right people questions. So for example, earlier this year, I work alongside Mo Rock at the Los Angeles Tribune for a lot of different things, producing virtual events with him. And at the beginning of this year, I ran into him on the Marketer's Cruise. The Los Angeles Tribune was one of the largest stages I'd been on when I first started my speaking career. And I asked him, and I asked a lot of other people on the cruise and different promoters who put speakers on stage, what is it they're all saying, especially we need to put more women on stages. So I started looking at that and started asking those very questions. And I had everything from training issues to asking for a sell from stage from a speak to sell platform to putting yourself out as a keynote speaker. But when I sat down and had that conversation with Mo Rock, it was about, I don't think women have been given the opportunity as men have in the personal development space to really be showcased. And that's when everything started to change for me. And so why do not women get more speaking stages? The stages are there. They're being offered. I don't know if they are ready to take the next step to grow and expand, or some of them are, you do pay to be on the stage, but it's exchange for huge marketing and exposure. I don't know that most women are willing to take that risk to go to that next level, but those are all things that can be easily overcome. And what we see often is people like Tony Robbins in today's world going household name, here he is. But you didn't think about 20, 25 years ago, he was doing infomercials, selling on stage in front of a TV camera. He wasn't in front of a live audience. Right. And so we don't see that whole history, but when you look at it, there's a place for it. And it's just overcoming that mindset and some of those obstacles, because those stages, they're there. I know, because I'm booking people on them. So it's taking the step, just taking that action step, knowing that you're valued, that you're worthy, that your message is important, that you can make an impact in the world and you can make that difference.
Okay, I love that. Okay, so what is something that a speaker did that you were like, oh my gosh, I have to have them on my stage?
Share from their heart. Simply put, share from their heart. I remember last June, I was producing a show and I got to interview a person who's been a mentor to me off and on, but in the style of questions and how he shared, and a story that left him completely vulnerable. And then he shared it on a national stage live with over 125,000 people, because it was like, wow, okay. He spoke authentically. He was genuine. He spoke from the heart. He's a real person. And when those qualities come across, it's like, yeah, I need that person to be on a stage, or I need that person to be on my podcast, because you're relatable and you're connected and you're not up here above everybody. You're on the same playing field. And that's what makes it real.
So what are some of the trending topics that you're seeing that event planners are just, screaming to have on their stage?
Oh my goodness. Some of the trending topics. I see a lot in the personal development space, which I'm going to say goes back to basic energy work and energy healing. And I see a lot of people calling themselves healers, coaches, mindset coaches, all of that. But what they're really talking about are spiritual principles. Where I think this needs to go is we've been hiding under that mask of, well, I'm going to talk about it from this viewpoint because I can't be over here in like a spiritual woo-woo type category because the rest of the world isn't there. But I see that shift and that trend happening. And people, interestingly enough, are calling themselves coaches when they're really a healer. And I think that shift is going to happen and it's going to continue, because as a healer, it's bringing back closer to source energy, back to a pure energy, vibration, and frequency. And yes, you can talk about it from a quantum physics point of view, but sharing that and really aligning with who you are. And I think there's a fear in the message, especially with speaking, that the audience isn't going to accept it. But the truth is the audience is hungry for it. And that's what I'm starting to see from event planners and event coordinators, myself included, as I share my message more authentically. They're putting that out on stage because that's what's attracting, because it's all about making that impact in the world.
Right. That's interesting. So it sounds like what's happening is people are more open to that whole spiritual side.
Yeah.
It seemed like, I think in one point too, I remember in my speaking career in the beginning, it was like, you didn't want to say God.
Right.
last you were speaking to a Christian audience or something like that. But it seems like now people are more like embracing that more so than ever before.
Yes. And I think the definitions of things are being redefined with it. So a lot of people will use the word God, as in your example, instead of this being that's outside of us, as more of a frequency of an energy that's omnipresent, that's in everything. So I think our definitions and our awareness have been shifting and changing to allow for that as well.
Right. So what kind of speakers are you looking for?
I look for mostly women, men also, but most women, because we do want to put more women out on stages that are emerging, that are ready to take their message to the next level, that are up and coming, that are ready to go. I'm ready to go to like the minor leagues to get to the major leagues. For example, you have your A-listed celebrities. And then you have your B-listed celebrities. And then with the B-listed celebrities, these are the people like your Mark Victor Hansons and your Sharon Lecters and your Robert Kiyosaki's and when you're a household name like Oprah and Tony Robbins, that's an A-listed person. Everybody knows those names. But ready to emerge and come up to these levels to be associated with like the up and coming. I often think in terms of baseball because you have the minor leagues, and from the minor leagues, as you qualify, you go to the major leagues. And that's how I see that pathway. So I look for people that have a message to share, that's heart-centered, that want to make an impact, that are up and coming and wanting to emerge like the seed out of the ground and just bloom and blossom. Right. And that's what I'm looking for, to associate back to other people in the speaking world to grow and magnify your speaking career.
Right. Oh, that sounds fantastic. Okay. So I know you do a lot of events. How many events do you do in a year?
That number will vary. The very first time after I started with podcasts, that year, I had done over 150 podcasts in a 12-month period of time. And that was just podcasts and then learning and being out on different speaking stages. I'm a little bit more selective today, but I am still doing podcasts and I still go out on live stages to speak and virtual stages. So typically I speak at least once, if not twice a week virtually. And then once a month, I've been doing a live event. That requires travel and other expenses and things like that. So you just want to make sure you're in alignment with the live event, that the audience is there, and that the promoter is delivering what was said that they were going to deliver for some of the numbers. So one live event a month, and then as many virtual as I can do in a scheduled week.
Okay, so what does it take for a speaker to get to be like that emerging speaker that, like you say, go to the minor leagues and then gets up into the majors? Like how do you know what league you're in?
The way to get there is by leaving a digital footprint in social media, with your website, and a lot of different areas and arenas like that, showcasing what you do, having a dedicated speaker website and all of that. And then that will start emerging. And as you do, when you put out the content of what you're doing and what you're speaking, because like energy attracts like energy, you get more of those things. So when I was putting out all the podcasts that I was doing, people were messaging me on Instagram saying, hey, can you be on my podcast? And then I started putting out that I was a writer and I had books. Well, the next thing that shows up in my life, I have magazines that I write for now. I have other books that I co-author and write. I'm writing my own second book. More and more writing showed up. So now as I've been putting out, hey, no, I'm a speaker. So more and more speaking events are showing up. And now keynote speaking events are being showed up. So I'm just paid to come to an organization to speak for them. And so it's sharing all of that information in social media, living that digital footprint. And when you do start going on larger events where you're tied into other celebrities, making sure that you share and market that social media meme with your picture next to them, because that's shared the stage with, and it starts leveling you up. because it's all about trust and credibility into that next phase to do that. So when you start doing those things and then you start emerging, then what happens is people like me will pick it up in social media and reach out and say, hey, I've been watching you for a while on your social media, which is what happened to me 4 years ago. Would you be interested in this?
Right.
And that's how it works.
And that's how it goes. That's excellent. So what's your favorite part about the speaking business?
My favorite part about the speaking business, sharing and connecting with the audience. Several years ago, I had a speaking coach, and he was all about, why do you feel called to speak? Why do you feel called? Why do you feel called? One of my private sessions with him for like 2 hours was, and why do you feel called to whatever my last sentence was, trying to get me to an emotional state. And I understand what he was doing. But what I ended up writing was, I absolutely love when I see clients or people or an audience that I've connected with, and you see them out on social media, living the life that they love and loving the life they live, doing the things they never thought that they could do. And to me, that's a gift, and why I do what I do in the healing world. But in the speaking world, it was to use my voice as a divine healing instrument, making sacred connections with others. Because what a lot of people don't know is a precursor to actually speaking on stage. There was a domestic violence incident where my partner at the time had had his hand around my throat, cutting off my voice, cutting off my breath. And I almost died. And I realized, because I didn't, that I had a message to share, and that I needed to start sharing and use my voice in this other way. And so my favorite part is connecting with people, because my story was their story, which is somebody else's story, and we're all connected. And if someone can hear my voice and heal from it, or move forward, or be something a little bit better, or increase in vibration, or, I think that's why we're here. That's why we're here on this planet. And if speaking is one of the avenues, awesome. Writing is one of my other avenues, cool. I can do both. So whatever for other people's healing, bringing back to a divine love energy, that's what I absolutely love.
So when you're looking for speakers, what do you need from them in order to hire them or look at them?
A conversation.
A conversation.
15-minute conversation of, I want to know who you are, what you're doing, where you're going, and some of your goals. And then to see if it makes sense to utilize some of these larger platforms to really grow and magnify where you are at. Right. But it's a conversation that I look for. Yes, I can send out messages in social media. Yes, I can do all of that, which requires action on other people's part. But what I've been doing is reaching out to people that I know. And I'll invite anybody in your listening audience, if they want to learn more, to reconnect with me and have that 10, 15-minute conversation. Because once I understand what it is that you're doing, what your goals are, and where you want to go, then I know what opportunities to share back with you where you're at. And I have millions of them.
Right. Well, that was going to be my next question, is how can people work with you and get in touch with you?
Yes. The easiest way is through a calendar booking link, actually. Yes, it does require an action step to be able to just book straight on my calendar for that 15-minute conversation. And what I'll do here is I will share that here really quickly in our chat so we can share it with the listeners. That would be totally awesome there. But just having that 15-minute coffee chat just to get to know you and what it is that you are doing. And it's just the calendar link. Pretty easy. Pretty easy. But that'll be the fastest way.
Great. Okay, so Dawna Campbell 360.com/coffee.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm always drinking coffee. It's okay.
You know, it's interesting because I always thought that drinking coffee was an adult thing to do. And then when I became an adult, I didn't like it. So
yeah. Well, I have to share, there was a time in my life that I kind of did a mental checkout of society. I lived in an ashram. It was a spiritual living community. And I was by myself a lot. And I had just come from this high power corporate background, and I wasn't used to being by myself. So literally, I would go to coffee shops in the Portland area and do and work on my own stuff, but to be near and connected to the energy of other people. And I would sit there and drink a cup of coffee incredibly slowly, and it would eventually go cold and do different things and stuff. So it's now a habit, but to have coffee and to share in that conversation. Sometimes I drink water, sometimes I drink tea, but I always have a coffee cup. It's just one of those things.
I love it. Well, I'll have to get your address from you because I have a little gift for you. So I think you're going to love it because of the conversation we're having. But yeah, okay. So any final words of wisdom that you'd love to share with speakers?
Yes. There was a time in my life that everything was like upside down and backwards, and we've all gone through them. And so I wrote my own mantra. It's kind of like your own set of affirmation that you say to yourself all the time to get you through the hard times. But also it's become a mantra for me to keep moving into all of the good things in life and to keep going on the path. And that mantra is trust and you will see, believe and you will know, have faith, all is well. Follow your heart and spirit will lead you.
Oh, I love that. That's beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, you guys, there you go. That's another episode of Landing the Gig. Thank you for listening. And thank you, Dawna, for your awesome words of wisdom. I know everybody's just going to love your episode and everything that you shared. You shared so many golden nuggets. So thank you for that.
Thank you for having me. This was such a pleasure.
You are very, very welcome.
Oh my gosh, Kelly, that was an amazing episode. I hope you all took notes. Absolutely fabulous insights from experts telling us exactly how we can land the gig. For those of you who want more, we are super excited to offer you a new program that Kelly and I are building together that we would love for you to be part of. It is one message, 1 year, 6 figures. We're going to teach you 12 strategies once a month, a new strategy that you're going to be able to implement to get actual income from your message, to be able to build it, to be able to share it, to be able to grow it, and to be able to profit from it.
I love it, Kimberly, because that's the big thing is we have this message. We know we want to be a speaker, but we don't know what to do with it. So this way they're going to get to work with us to make it all happen and come together.
I love it. So not only will you get the sessions with us in a group format, you're going to learn a different strategy every single month to be able to generate income from your message. On top of that, you're going to have a Q&A session or an accountability session with Kelly once a month as well, where we're going to check in to make sure that you're making progress on that strategy, that you're implementing. For those of you who are actually action takers and going to implement each strategy every month, you'll have a chance to check in with Kelly to make sure you're on track, answer any questions that you need to answer, and be able to continue your growth and your profitability. In addition to that, we're going to invite you to come play with us in person on the Influencers Cruise. Kelly, do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Oh my God, I can't wait for the Influencers Cruise. It's going to be so fun, so much stuff to do. And of course, learn, and make profit. So I'm looking forward to the Influencers Cruise and what we're going to do on that.
So if you want to check it out, click the QR code and find out more. We would love to have you be a part of it. I'm Kimberly Crow along with Kelly Filardo. We'll see you next time on Landing the Gig. Cheers.